So congratulations to Donald Trump, the United States 47th president, and our first pro-crypto president ever. And just how we welcome Donald Trump, the markets have been rallying ever since Donald Trump was elected. And that said, today we're going to cover the promises he made us, crypto-friendly promises he made us, and the actions he's actually taken since he's been voted in as president. In less than 2 days, he is coming through for us, and it is so exciting. So in today's show, we're going to cover the Trump pump, as we're going to call it, and what this means for macro markets and what this means for us and how we can take advantage of this and still position ourselves. It's not too late before the rest of this parabolic phase in the crypto market. This is phase 3 before it plays out. So please stay tuned. Trump is real. The markets have been pumping. It's never been a more exciting time in the crypto markets, and I'm so excited to share with you. So without further ado, let us get started. So we're going to start off by checking out Bitcoin's price. Now, if you've been following, you would know Bitcoin has been trending sideways, but in general on the way up, which is so exciting, and it's what we've all been waiting for and at the edge of our seats just hoping and praying for, and here it is. So this is just the beginning, is what I believe. I believe this is like the new floor basically, but we will see. Next, if we take a look at what the inflows tell us, since Monday, essentially, if you look at the inflows, it tells us a story. We know that on November 5th, there was the 4th, the 5th, like the few days leading up to elections, the 4th and the 5th mainly of this week, there was a lot of red, as you can see, where my mouse is hovering, a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. And as of yesterday, and I'm so sorry I didn't come to you yesterday, I just arrived back home here in Thailand. And anyway, you know what is involved with traveling and coming home. So anyway, I'm really happy to be back today. And as you can see, since yesterday, pretty much since Donald Trump was elected president, which is just so unbelievable to me still, to even imagine that I'm saying these words is so tremendous. It's tremendous, like what this means for our economy, what this means for world peace. It's just unbelievable. And we'll see in a minute all the things, promises that Donald Trump is already taking action on, which is so relieving as well, because so many politicians say things to get elected, and then when push comes to shove, or when it comes time to have rubber meet the road and demonstrate what they're really all about, they usually fumble. And Donald Trump is definitely not fumbling. He is acting on everything that he promised us and committed to do, which is very exciting. But back to the inflows, we'll see that basically November 6th and 7th, there have been a lot of investments. There have been a lot of new investments into Bitcoin's ETFs across the different funds. And this is so bullish. This is a sign, I believe, of what's to come. We can expect a lot more of this. But as you can see on the screen from the Kobesi letter, Donald Trump won the 2024 election, and he will be officially, he is the 47th president of the United States, and he's already sending tidal waves through the world, and definitely through the crypto space. And these are the things he's already accomplished. So take your time, read the screen. If you can't see my screen, I'll read it for you. But it says, Donald Trump 2024 Bitcoin conference speech recap. This is what he promised us that he would do. He says, on day one, I will fire Gary Gensler and appoint a new SEC chair. He will create a U.S. government strategic national Bitcoin stockpile, if elected. The U.S. government will keep 100% of Bitcoin it owns, so no more selling off of the Bitcoin that it's confiscated basically from people and crypto financial criminals, basically, even though that I don't believe is true. But anyway, they have confiscated quite a bit of Bitcoin, actually. And up until now, the US government has been selling it in tranches, in chunks. And he has said he's going to stop all of this moving forward. He says, Bitcoin is going to the moon. He has said this. He has said, never sell your Bitcoin. He has said, Bitcoin will one day probably surpass the market cap of gold. These are things he has said. He reaffirmed his pledge to commute. Aw, I hope he really comes through with this. He's supposed to pardon Ross Ulbricht. So we may very well see Ross Ulbricht, the creator of Silk Road, which is how they actually obtained a lot of their Bitcoin. He said he would release him. So I really hope that's something that happens very soon, because this poor human did not deserve to get put away. They gave him like a lifetime sentence, which is outrageous because he was just a kid when all of this happened. Next, he committed there will never be a CBDC, or like a central bank currency. He says, well, he's president, that he would not allow this because, there's been talks of this. He said Bitcoin and crypto will skyrocket like never before if elected president. He said Bitcoin is not threatening the dollar. The current US government is threatening the dollar. This is something, he said, which is so clarifying. So clarifying. He said the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world. He also said Bitcoin stands for freedom, sovereignty, and independence from the government coercion and control. And then he pledged to the Bitcoin community that the day he were to take office, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's anti-crypto crusade would be over. I'm going to repost this now. So these are the promises he promised us. And let's see if he comes through. Now, on the screen that we're staring at together, this is what he has already completed in his first 2 days, not even full first 2 days as president. So number one, Steve Madden is halting manufacturing in China by half in a year. Hamas already called for an end to the war in the Middle East. Iran backed Houthis' announcement at a ceasefire, so also to stop the war. And Putin said he's ready to work together towards peace. How unbelievable is this? If you're staring at my screen, you can read more closely more about everything that I said. These are the headlines. But see, moving on. This is so unbelievable, huh? I'm going to repost this. So you guys can find all of this on my Twitter account as well. And then here, if you're staring at my screen, you would see it's a photo of Donald Trump with the funniest smile ever. Sort of like a I told you so kind of smile. And what looks like Putin throwing gang signs. Just kidding. And the headline here just says what I just told you a minute ago. Russian President Putin says Russia... Oh, sorry, this is a new announcement. Russia is not abandoning the US dollar. See, this is why I believe government officials should also have a background in business. Like entrepreneurial, negotiating your own business deals type of business experience, not just a degree, because we would all know that to be your own business just takes you as a human being to a whole new level of negotiating. And how can we allow our government officials to govern our nation that is basically a giant business without any business experience, right? It doesn't make sense. And that's why Trump was such a fitting candidate to be president, because he's run multiple businesses, and ultimately it takes knowing how to negotiate to lead us out of war, protect us from getting into new wars. And that's what he really brings to the table. And that's why I'm so excited and so at peace to know that he He's now our 47th president, which is amazing. I may want to go back to the US. Next, what else is he coming through on? Gary Gensler is officially under investigation after hours. It was only like hours since Donald Trump was elected president, and he already had, and if you're looking at my screen, you can see it's the letter dictating or like explaining his investigation. Can you imagine? So he got to work right away, which I just respect so much, you know? Next, per Reuters, right? Robinhood legal chief Dan Gallagher is still the front runner to replace Gary Gensler. So Trump is also considering, these are the people he's also considering to replace Gary Gensler with, is the former SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins and the former General Counsel Robert Stebbins. And then I guess Hester Pierce, if you can see my screen, she is not interested in the job. So, oh well. But it's amazing that it's happening, guys. It's happening. We see Bitcoin pumping already. And then now we're just seeing Donald Trump follow through and like execute orders on all the promises he made us. Next, this is the summary of the Fed's decision on 11/7 of this year. So one was the Fed cuts interest rates by 25 BPS in the second cut of 2024. Vote for 25 base point rate cut. Well, it was unanimous at the time. The Fed says, so the language is a little weird here, okay? So I'm just reading you each bullet point. But basically, the Fed said risks to goals remain roughly in balance. The labor market conditions have generally eased. The Fed removes gaining confidence and inflation moving to 2%, and the Fed will continue to reduce its balance sheet. So we can expect another 25 basis points cut in December. So just remember that this is around the corner. So in one more month, we can expect another 25 base point rate cut. But this is amazing. This is amazing. This is 2 days after the elections. And these are the moves, I want to call them, that we're already seeing the government do. And it's incredible. It's going to have a huge impact on the market. And as you can see on my screen, we're already seeing a Bitcoin at 76,000. We already saw Solana hit 200. And even Ethereum, which many thought was dead, is also ripping, and it definitely looks like DeFi, the DeFi sector is coming back as well. And then memes, of course, are soaring as always. So this is what and how Jason explains it. He wraps it up by saying, it's time to buy, hold, and enjoy the pump, sons and daughters. It's really hard to F this one up, guys. And I couldn't agree more. On that note, I would just like to comment, and maybe this is a whole video on what my strategy this bull run will be, but I don't think it's wise to like spread your money across all the top tokens and like just put all your money into chasing the top meme coins. I've covered this in past videos, but maybe I can do a recap on this. But it's wise to know what tokens you're going to stand behind this bull run. It's not too late. I know we've seen Bitcoin pump a little bit, but it's not too late. It's really important to know which tokens you're going to stand by, which tokens you believe in, what your long-term hold strategy is, and how much money you're going to allocate to playing volatile plays, high-risk plays like memes, and not spread yourself out too thin, because remember, to succeed, you have to manage what you have. And that means keeping up with the news. That means following updates. And it's really hard to do that with too many tokens. So anyway, just a word on that. But back to what I was explaining a moment ago, what I'm zooming in on here on the screen is by Velo, which is free, by the way. You can go use it. And it will just tell you, like market summary, basically. And right now, as you can see here in purple, DeFi is leading the way. is the leading sector, followed by layer ones, and followed by memes, of course. And then lastly, followed by layer twos, AI, and gaming. We will touch a little bit more on Ethereum in a second. But for now, as you can see on my screen, per Kyle, Solana hit $200. Amazing. We're definitely back, guys. The party's just getting started. And here, as you can see on my screen, it's super funny. I swear the memes in crypto just kill me. ETH just broke out of a downward trend. It's held since May 27th. You can see on my left here the chart, this like really sad and horrific, like sad Grand Canyon look, deep valleys. And on the right here, you can see this like crazy, what do you call these guys? The fake fighters. Anyway, with the death grip. But this is amazing. We even see, as you can see, I zoomed in here, this is Ethereum breaking out. So it looks like we're definitely back. And if you zoom in here, this is from Kaito, which is not for free. It's an expensive tool, but it's very detailed and has a really good UI. It really demonstrates all the data in a really vivid way. This just demonstrating how Ethereum broke out once again. Just crazy. It's beautiful. Frankly, it's beautiful. I'm so happy. I am so happy. I know you and me, everyone, we've all just been hanging on, hanging tight throughout the bull run, taking profits a little bit here and there. Pretty much everyone I knew, all the VCs, everybody has been short on cash, on liquidity. So anyway, we're coming back, guys. That said, we can see that Sui network, it flipped Ethereum in total transactions. So Ethereum is back, it's pumping again, but nevertheless, despite all, Sui still overcame them. It overdid them in total transactions. So this is extremely telling and tells us what we can expect more of this bull run. Because remember, Sui has been flying through a bear market. Well, it's been a bull market, but it's been like bearish within this second phase of bull run. Now we're officially in the third phase of the bull run, guys. This is the parabolic phase. I've mentioned this in past videos, but I'm going to say it again. This is where you make life-changing gains. This is where you need to lock in. This is where you need to lock certain friends out of your life, out of like put certain family members where they belong if they're not going to be uplifting to you and encouraging to you and believing in your mission. Because your mission right now, if you're here, is to make as much money as possible to transform your life. That is your mission right now if you are in crypto, if you're listening to this video. So you have to organize your life in a way that supports this mission. So going to sleep at a good time, saying no to parties, as much as you love them, make sure they happen on the weekend. Even then, remember, crypto doesn't sleep on the weekend. So just get a schedule. Get a schedule that helps your mind, that helps you stay balanced. Get a breathing routine. I recently got the iWatch, and I love mainly the meditation, the breathing app on it, the mindfulness app on it, because it just helps me breathe. I don't know about you guys, but when I get stressed out, I notice I just stop breathing. And that blocks, oxygen to your brain, literally. And so anyway, I'll go on and on about this, but I'll stop now. The point being is that we are in the money making, the real money making, generational, like think of your kids, your mother, you want to retire, yourself that you want to retire, never have to work again. On that note, I'll just say that pretty much this whole bull run, I have lived off of my investments, which is the first time in my life I've been able to say that. And I did that because of the work and the investments that I heavily invested to last bull run. Just to give you an idea of how much this money that you can make this bull run can serve you into the future. If you have other goals, like starting a small business, like going back to school, like having a family, this is where you can make the money to fuel that. So it's a very important time, and I really hope you're ready. Let me know if you have questions in the comment section. I'm happy to get back to you, but it's really time to be ready, guys. That said, going back to Ethereum and how we were mentioning earlier, how they're back, but Sui still overcame, right? Still outdid them in total volume transactions. This is an interesting thought. This is by Raoul Pal. He's from Real Vision. He has a YouTube channel. Comes from traditional TradFi, stock, like hedge fund world. And he makes a really good case for why Ethereum really may make a comeback. And maybe really Ethereum just moves into its own category. Like maybe Sui will continue to overtake it, but Ethereum has proven itself. And let's listen to what Raoul Pal has to say. But he says this. He says, I've been expecting ETH to start gaining lost ground on Bitcoin. It's partly driven by the risk-taking cycle, but it's also driven by the election. You see, now that regulation is likely to dramatically improve for crypto, it allows two potential developments. One, utility tokens and DeFi to begin to offer yield or reward of underlying protocol, which creates network value. Most of this is on ETH, right? Most of the DeFi protocols or dApps, decentralized apps, are on Ethereum. Two, TradFi will likely begin to build larger use cases, but on the most tested and adopted chain, right? So now that we've had the Bitcoin ETF approved, right? And now that Trump is president and that Gary Gensler is most likely fired, crypto regulation is going to get more friendly, right? So most likely TradFi, traditional finance, is going to start to be like, okay, let us participate in crypto. How can we do this? Who are we going to operate on? Well, who do you think they're going to operate on? They're obviously going to feel the safest on the oldest, most well-known chain, right? And so that's what Raoul Pal is saying here. He says, think of ETH and the layer 2s as the Microsoft of Web3. No one gets fired for using it, right? It's like on Microsoft Word, it's like on every single laptop pretty much, right? And so that's how he says, like, think of ETH like that, Ethereum. That's how TradFi is going to see Ethereum's network. He says those two elements alone can dramatically re-rate Ethereum and offset the current retail adoption on other chains, and ETH yields will attract more institutions. Yields allow other financial products to be built, such as guaranteed funds. With better regulations, this activity will explode. He says, my view is that Ethereum begins to outpace BTC for the rest of the cycle, but underperforms Sol, and Sol underperforms Sui, as Sui is the ultimate performance stage of adoption. Early, not quite 1,000% proven, but proving its way fast. So he wraps it up by saying, let's see. And I agree, but that's a really good deconstruction of potential outcomes, right? Based on what we do know already. So we'll see, as he said. That said, as we also saw on the Velo chart, DeFi mindshare, right, is now higher than at any time this year versus the other top narratives. Pretty insane. And then here's a chart to demonstrate this for you. So on the 1 day, 7 day, 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, and 1 year, and you just see that increasing across the board. Amazing. So DeFi is also back and pumping, right? That said, we're gonna move over, shift gears, and talk about some other altcoins that could be very promising and interesting for you to invest in for the reasons I will explain. So here we can see this Wojak Sui guy. He says, some people ask me if this is the top for Cetus after the Binance listing. And his answer is below. He says, Popcat is at $1.50 and Cetus is at 36. right? So we can expect, like, Popcat is a foreshadowing of what Cetus could become or reach, right? So we'll see. I mean, Cetus it sounds promising anyway. And here's a little explanation of why, right? So Cetus protocol is a decentralized platform focused on decentralized finance, built on the Aptos and Sui blockchains. It provides advanced exchange and liquidity tools for digital assets, facilitating fast and secure transactions. He says, I'm extremely bullish on Cetus for several reasons. The market cap is under 100 million, so it's still small and has a lot of room to grow. Binance will be listing Cetus, right, which will accelerate its democratization. And Sui blockchain will become the reference like Solana was, and we will need a reference DEX. So these are the reasons as to why Cetus could be a really bullish play. I believe I'm holding Cetus, but I will go check. That said, I'm taking my own advice and going to be reviewing all of my holdings. I'm really happy with all of my holdings, but I just want to make sure that this is how I want to go into this bull run, because I am distributed across several different tokens. Yeah, anyway, all of that to say, I may go invest in Cetus. That said, some updates on Pepecoin. We know Pepecoin has reached new all-time highs because, as you can see on my screen, since shortly after election, not even 2 days after elections, Pepecoin has been flying. And this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. You need to be watching Pepecoin. I've made a whole video on Pepecoin and how it's connected to based AI, and unbelievable. So please keep your eyes open for Pepecoin. I'm not paid to say this. I'm just holding Pepecoin, but I really believe in this project a lot. So that's Pepecoin for you. And here is Cetus protocol. Also, you can see on election day, leading up to election day, flat. But as soon as market conditions got bullish, basically as soon as, like Bitcoin started flying, although Bitcoin's pumped earlier, but it's like they say, like the market can be down, but you need to always watch out for the tokens that pump the fastest and the soonest after a little market rally, and everything tends to follow Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin goes up, the rest of the market tends to go up too. And you need to pay attention to the ones that pump the fastest. And Cetus protocol was one of those, right? Plus all the reasons that I shared with you a moment ago. But if we just look at the chart, for instance, very bullish, very, very bullish. So that's Cetus for you, based AI for you. And then lastly, I have this is pure Degen. Okay, this is only if like you have some extra money, maybe you cashed out of some tokens, whatever, you have some extra liquidity you want to gamble with only, is this one. Ticker SLURP, right? This came into my radar. I don't know if it's going to be a winner or not. I'm simply sharing alpha with you, okay? One word, SLURP. But all right, guys, I hope you gained value. Let me know if you want to learn more about anything that I shared with you in greater detail. And I will be making, I still have a couple videos I'm preparing for you. So one of them is on how to keep your money off the record, basically. How to participate with a decentralized wallet in different IDOs, different sales, and then how to use that money in a decentralized way that won't penalize you or make you have to pay taxes. So that's a video that I'm working on. And then secondly, I'm going to be working on a video on my position and how I'm going into this bull run, this third phase of the bull run. So let me know if that interests you and if any other topic interests you. But that said, guys, exciting times. Trump became president. I truly believe this is a turning of the page for our nation, for the world. I believe this will be the beginning of wars ending, much more peaceful and prosperous times for everybody. I am so excited for everybody, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Ciao.